Let me just double check with them. Okay, cool. Yeah. So yeah, anyways, so you need to think of your body, guys, as a bundle of energy. That is all it is. It's nothing more than that. And food is also energy. Everything that you look around in general is just made up of energy, and it's just like manifests as some sort of form. So with your body, like your skin is made up of energy. Like for example, and the reason why we measure things in calories is because calories are just a unit of energy. When I say like this monster can is 10 calories, that's just I can say like it's 10 energies, right? It just depends how we're quantifying energy. But even like, and this goes for you as a human being as well, like you are a certain amount of calories, your body is worth a certain amount of calories, and all that it means is that you have a certain amount of energy within you. And so the way that we like, the reason why we use calories is there's like we have something called the bomb calorimeter. And by essentially like you essentially like blow up food and you see how much energy that food releases when you like blow it up, for example. And that's how you can technically measure how much energy something is composed of. And so your body energy is just your energy in, which is your, and which we will talk about that, but that typically just is in the form of food, and then your energy out, which is how you are spending that energy. That is all your body is composed of. And again, just really try to like imagine your body as this like this ball of energy that has, or this, yeah, like I guess like aura of energy that's composed of different things that also have different amounts of energies, like proportionally um, compared from one to another. For example, like muscle is more dense and has higher energy than, or it's more dense but doesn't have higher energy than fat. And so like we'll get into like how that kind of works in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, so you need to understand that, okay, when we when you are trying to find how many calories you burn in a set day, that number, I'm just gonna make this right here. That number is called your total daily energy expenditure. Okay, that's how much calories you burn in a day. Um, and it's composed of three things. There's your basal metabolic rate, which is how much your body burns if you were to just do nothing at all. If you were just to sit on a couch, or if you were to sleep and not move, this is just how much your body burns in order to just survive. And so usually this manifests in like in your brain using a lot of energy. Like your brain uses like 20% of this, I'm pretty sure, 30%. And then your ion pumps within your body are like consuming a ton of energy. And you, just to stay alive, this is that your BMR is that a set amount of calories that you need to just survive. And so the rest of your TDEE, the rest of the calories that you burn in a day, are actually composed of you working out, you doing things like walking, and food that you eat, and from another perspective. So on the side of you working out and you just walking around, there are two things to know. So there's your NEAT and your EAT, and we'll get into that in the next slides. And there's a thermic effect of food. So your NEAT and your EAT is the energy. I'm gonna move this a little bit. Your NEAT and your EAT is your energy burned through movement and exercise. So this is usually about 15 to 30% of your TDE. Here I just put it as 20%. And then you have the thermic effect of food, which is the amount of calories you burn just to digest food. Because again, like digesting food and absorbing food requires energy as well. And what's important about this is certain foods use more energy to burn and to absorb relative to other foods. And so this is from a textbook, and it's just a really good example of how this all works. So you you are essentially like, let's say this is let's say this is you, right? If you get 5 units of energy in, and you burn 4 units of energy. So this is your energy out. 4 units of energy doing working out and walking and doing whatever you're doing. And again, your energy out is this. Okay, guys? If your energy in is higher than your energy out, you now store 1 new unit of energy. This is just calories. But again, like I said at the beginning, calories are just energy. They're literally nothing else. A calorie isn't a thing, guys. It's how we measure. And just like a milliliter isn't a thing. Like, you know how like water is a thing and we measure water in milliliters, but like you never say like, oh, look at that milliliter. You say, look at that water. It's the same thing with this, is that like energy you don't say, oh, look at that calorie. You say like, oh, look at that, like that chair, which even a chair, for example, is composed of calories because it has energy. It's composed of energy. And so it's the same thing here. So you get your energy in, and you get 5 units of energy in, 4 units of energy out, and now you're storing 1 unit of energy. You now are in an energy surplus. What does energy surplus means? It means calorie surplus. It's the exact same thing. What does calorie surplus mean? You are going to have higher energy in the form of either muscle or fat, essentially muscle or fat, or like it can be like skeletal tissue, like musculoskeletal tissue, whatever it is. The point is now you have extra energy, and that energy just manifests in different ways. That's the biggest thing to understand here, is that there's nothing more than this, guys. There's literally nothing more than this. It's just your body's a thermodynamic equation, constantly. You're eating food, that's X amount of energy. You're walking around, so that's X amount of energy out, and now you're just storing. And then this is just the balance. It's like, are you in a surplus, or are you in a deficit? If you are in a deficit, you are going to lose energy, meaning weight, period. There's no exception. I don't care what anyone tells you, you will lose weight if you are in an energy deficit. And if you are in an energy surplus, then you will gain weight. There's no, oh yeah, it's inside. There's nothing more to it. Okay, so so I want to talk about the components of your TDEE. So so the first one is the BMR, like I told you. So this is your baseline energy cost. It's your ion pumps, your protein turnover, and your brain function. This is about 60 to 70% of your calories. 60 to 70% of your calories is literally just your body at rest. 60, 70%. The rest of the calories you burn are from other things, but just your body surviving, like, and your brain using like all the energy that it needs to use to function properly. And like I said, like the ion pumps and your protein turnover, that's the majority of the energy that you use. That's the majority of the calories that you consume are going towards that. Okay. And then the other calories will be used for other things. So I wish I could, one sec, guys. I'm just going to try to move this up a little bit so I can, okay, but this is much better. Much better. Okay. Yeah, perfect. So, okay, yeah. So, and just like an example of this would be, so like a 75-kilogram desk worker burns usually 1,600 calories before even getting out of bed. Okay, this is just during night where you're sleeping, and your body is consuming energy just to do everything it needs to do. Fat oxidation, meaning like burning fat, protein synthesis, so like building muscle. That's going on in the background, and you're not even aware of it. And that's where most of the energy is going. Okay, so the next one is your NEAT. This is your non-exercise activity thermogenesis. And so this is really important. So this is, and I'm going to make a key distinction here. So there's NEAT and there's EAT. The only difference between NEAT and EAT is the N, and it's the non. So non-exercise activity thermogenesis is your think of non-deliberate exercise activity thermogenesis. So this is stuff that you're not doing deliberately, that you don't really notice yourself doing. For example, spontaneous. So like even me just moving my hands like this right now, and like fidgeting, pacing, gesturing, standing, whatever, these little things that I do, going on, like pacing the house. Like when I'm like, some people, when they're on a call, they like to pace the house. Some people like to sit down, that's NEAT. You're not thinking of this stuff. It's not deliberate. It's non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Honestly, I think like a better term would be like NDE, or NDEAT, non-deliberate exercise activity thermogenesis. This uses 15 to 50%. It varies very widely from person to person. And so there was a study done on two identical sized people, or identical sized groups of people, and their sizes were about the same. And their NEAT, okay, can differ by 700 calories per day, which is huge. And something that I just want to get just clarify, so you don't hear any more bullshit on the internet. When somebody says, yo, like my friend just has a crazy metabolism, or yo, I just have a crazy metabolism, my genetics are like, I just have a really high metabolism. Your metabolism, guys, isn't high. Like there's no such, like, unless you have fucking hyperthyroidism, which you don't have, you would know if you have hyperthyroidism. Your metabolism isn't high. Most people have a very similar metabolism. Okay, it's mostly just ranging through 700 calories maximum, but, or this isn't, or actually scratch that. this is metabolism that's not even neat. So people are saying like, yeah, like my metabolism just like I just use more. When they say metabolism, they're trying to refer to their BMR. They're like, yeah, like when I just sit down, I use way more energy than another person does. That's just not true. Okay, you're not. When somebody says they have a high metabolism, chances are, very high chances are, their NEAT is just super high. So everyone knows that person that like can eat like a fucking burger and a pizza in a day, and then like the next day they've like somehow they've just lost weight or they haven't gained any weight. The reason why is because that person that you know is probably like probably just like likes to fucking pace around in the house. They're like super energetic. They speak loud. Even in me speaking loud right now, I'm using more energy. Some people with very high needs will speak very loud. They'll be super energetic. They walk around all the time. Me personally, my NEAT isn't very high. Like I like to typically sit down. When I'm on the call on the phone, I like to sit down. I don't like to, but some people, and everyone knows a person like this who can just eat a lot and not gain weight. And even if this is you, it's probably because your NEAT is high. You're probably moving your hands a lot. You're jittering a lot. You're fidgeting a lot. Like things like that. That's what's contributing to this really big thing that people like to say is metabolism, but it's not metabolism. It's your NEAT. And you're like, you really can't, again, it's 60-70%, guys. So your metabolism isn't going to vary that much from person to person. My brain isn't using a significant amount of more energy relative to your brain. You know, my brain isn't any more special in that way. Brains are very meticulously crafted to use a certain amount of energy, and that's it. And the rest comes down to your NEAT. This is what people refer to. So I just wanted to get out of the way. If you hear somebody be like, "Yo, my metabolism is really high," they just don't know what they're talking about. Their NEAT is probably just very high. Okay, so the next thing is EAT. So this is your exercise activity thermogenesis. And so this is, again, deliberate exercise activity thermogenesis. I think there should be a D there. Pause. And so this is like, sorry guys, I'm so immature, bro. Um, this is like stuff that you're doing deliberately, like lifting, running, structured walking. And again, you're consciously choosing to do these things. So when you say like, I'm going to go to the gym or I'm going to go for a walk or I'm going to go for a run, you are making the conscious decision to be like, okay, I'm going to go do that. That's deliberate. Okay. It's not non-deliberate. You are deliberately choosing to do that. And this is only 10 to 15% of your calories. So when somebody's like, yeah, like, again, I'll just think, like another good example of this is there's usually like a person who works out every single day, but they run a desk job and like right after they work out, they just go home and they just like sit down and they watch Netflix. And even if they're eating healthy, they seem to still gain weight for some reason. And the reason why is because their NEAT is so low. Like they're just sitting down all fucking day and they're not moving around, they're not walking around. They're like even to taking the stairs, guys, I would consider NEAT because like you don't really consciously take the stairs. I mean, it can be like in between these two. But this is why like NEAT is so important. Like when you choose to take the stairs instead of doing like taking an elevator or instead of taking the escalator, you're constantly adding to your NEAT, or you can consider it EAT if you're deliberately thinking of taking the stairs. It doesn't matter though. The point is that these things add up. And so somebody who goes to the gym every day but can't seem to lose weight, it probably comes down to the fact that like, yeah, like let's look at your lifestyle. You're living a very sedentary lifestyle. Are you standing at your desk or are you sitting at your desk? That's neat. That's why like standing desks are so good for people who work desk jobs, is because like you can just increase your NEAT significantly just by standing up, you know, instead of sitting down. And that's why another person who doesn't work out every day, who works out maybe 3 times a day, but their lifestyle is generally quite active, or they just move around a lot during the day, they can lose weight no problem. So again, people are like, yeah, like I work out every single day and I'm like doing cardio once a day. But again, that's just 10 to 15% of that's it. Like it's a 45-minute barbell session burns about 300 calories. Okay. Like it's people overestimate how much they're burning in the gym. You're not burning that much calories in the gym. Sure, if you do like a crazy cardio session, you're burning like 1,000 calories. That's different. But generally, your cardio isn't like that's your NEAT is probably out. You're probably burning more calories from your NEAT than you are relative to your EAT. So yeah, that I think this is just really important to understand. And taking a look at like your general lifestyle is usually can add a lot of clarity when it comes to these sort of things. And this one's also very important. So the thermic effect of foods. This is the energy that you use to digest and process food. And so protein has the highest thermic effect, meaning that when you eat protein, you are using a lot of energy to just burn that protein. So if you have, let's say if you have 100 calories of protein versus 100 calories of fat, You will technically the protein is like 90 or 80 calories just because your body needs more energy to properly break down the protein into amino acids and then digest those amino acids. Um, the relative to fat. And so this is one important thing is like if you are constantly eating, and so this is the next point I was going to get to, which is very important. Processed food. So again, when I say the word process, anyone says process, think it's already been, and I know this is intuitive, but just to clarify, like it's already pretty much been through all the processing phases so that your body doesn't need to process it that much. So you eat the food, you eat a burger, right? That's very processed, and your body it just like converts into fats, into proteins, and into carbs almost right away because your body doesn't need to break it down. And so what does that mean? The thermic effect is very low. Your body isn't using that much energy to break down that burger. And this is why, like, I'm very like a huge proponent of just whole food diets, because if you have a whole food diet, then you are going to just, in virtue of eating whole foods that are unprocessed, you are going to be burning more calories just by eating those foods because your body, like again, like if you eat just like a whole wheat piece of bread, your body needs to use so much more energy to burn that and to break it down relative to like a patty from McDonald's. Do you see what I'm saying? So this is really important. This is why processed diets are like not only insidious in what they give you in the form of trans fats and all these like awful things, but it's also that like they just don't use any energy to you don't use any energy to burn them. So it's like they're even higher calorie than what they seem to be. Um, yeah, and the last thing I was gonna say on that was that since they're processed as well, by the way, this is kind of a side note, but since they're processed and they're not satiating, like your body absorbs them and then it's essentially your gut's like, okay, like we're done absorbing here. Like, are we gonna are we gonna eat again? Or like and so like you get hungry very, very quickly. Versus if you eat like a proper like meal with like fibers and like all your micronutrients and macronutrients, you'll be much more satiated. You'll feel much more full and you'll feel much better over time. Um, and yeah, this was something I just thought about. But like chewing gum for an hour will raise your energy expenditure by 11 calories. This is technically neat, not TEF because you're not actually breaking down the gum, but like by like your jaw fucking chewing, right? So like just by just by your jaw chewing, you're burning like 10 calories. So again, this is an example of NEAT, and so this would be added here. Okay, so I hope now we kind of understand. So again, these four things collectively make your TDEE, your total daily energy expenditure. Okay. Okay. Next slide. I don't know if this is okay. Yeah, so this is one of my clients, Rohan. And so I just want to let you guys know like how this would work in a like just when you were if you were to apply this information for yourself. So what you want to do is you want to you want to figure out what your TDEE is. How do you do that? Well, luckily we have something called a scale that measures how much energy you are composed of, and energy again manifests as weight. And so you get a scale and you eat a certain amount of calories. You try to calculate your BMR online through a BMR calculator, and you find your TDEE, your total TDEE for a person of your size, of your height, and of your activity levels. And you stick to that calories for a week and you see what happens to your weight. If you do not lose weight, you have found your maintenance calories. And that is now your maintenance calories that you can remember for the rest of your life for those metrics that you had. But again, that might change over time, even if you're the same weight. Why? Because if you are very muscular versus if you are like very fat, muscle burns more energy. So like a 200-pound muscular person has a much higher BMR BMR because again, ion pumps. Your muscles are much more metabolically active. They're using much more energy just at baseline. You're literally running a V8 engine if you are muscular versus a person who is fat is running an I4. And there's a huge difference there. So a 200-pound person that's made of muscle is just going to have a higher maintenance calories. This is why bodybuilders who are very, very heavy, like the guys that are like 230, 240, 250 pounds plus, their maintenance calories are like 4 or 5K because their muscles are so metabolically demanding and they need a lot of energy. So again, this This is a rough metric, and the only way to find it, guys, the only way you can find it for yourself is to just really calculate how much energy you're having per day. Again, energy is calories. When you hear me when you hear me say the word energy, just think calories. When you hear me say the word calories, think energy. Just so you know, I use them interchangeably because again, they're the same thing. Um, yeah, and the only way that you can find your maintenance energy is by sticking to this amount of calories and seeing what happens to your weight. And like I said, guys, there's no cheat code. You can't break this. Okay, like you'll never be able. You live in a universe with laws, and you are essentially like, I mean, you are that universe, and you are part of that universe, and you can't break those laws. So if you yeah, you're just not an exception, is what I'm saying. People think for some reason like their metabolism or however they fucking work isn't an exception. Yeah, bro, I'm in a caloric surplus, but I'm not gaining weight. It's like, no, you're not in a caloric surplus, because if you were in a caloric surplus, you would have extra energy, which would manifest as weight, and you would be heavier on the scale, period. No questions asked. If a person says they're in a caloric surplus and they're not gaining weight, they are not in a caloric surplus. Okay, like that. This is just how physics works. And so yeah, so you need to so you find your maintenance, which again takes about a week of just measuring yourself, of sticking to a certain amount of calories. And if you didn't lose weight, then congrats, you found now your maintenance calories. This is what Rohan and I did. We tried to find his maintenance calories. Right now it's got lower because he's now been in a slight deficit, but at the beginning he was about like 3,000 calories. But now he's at currently his maintenance is about 2,700 calories. If you lose weight, obviously now you know that, okay, this amount of calories is creating a deficit, and it's not my maintenance calories. Okay. And again, maintenance calories may change over time as you begin to build more muscle or not. A mild deficit, okay, so would be about a 300 calorie deficit. And so this is what I recommend to anyone, is that if you guys want to do a cut, or if you want to lose fat specifically, and I'll get into this in the next slide, but do not crash your calories, guys. It's the biggest and stupidest mistake I see people make. And like, I'll see like a really muscular guy, and I'll be like, yeah, like what are you eating? And he's like, oh, like, I'm eating like 2,000 calories. And like, I just feel so bad because it's just so retarded to do that. Like you can't, there's, you're in such a severe deficit that you're just going to be burning so much muscle, which I'll get into. But the max you should go, guys, like a moderate deficit is a 500 calorie deficit. That's I think the max you should drop the calories from your TDEE, or we're just gonna call it maintenance calories. After that, you're just gonna start, your bad things will happen. And so I like to put my clients, like Rohan, for example, like in a 300 calorie deficit, and then I track his weight from there and go from there. And again, the reason why you need to continue to drop calories in a cut is because your maintenance is also dropping. At the beginning of my cut, I weighed 240 pounds. Okay. Right now I'm 229 pounds. My maintenance calories has dropped. Okay. Because I weigh less, and now I have less muscle, and I have less fat, and now I'm using less energy. So I have to drop the calories accordingly. Okay. And that's why people need to continue to drop the calories. And so now let's say I just dropped to 2,000 calories right away. Where do I go after that when I stop losing weight? And I'll tell you why. Like, I'll explain why you stop losing weight, because your metabolism will essentially crash. But yeah, the point is, for you guys who are just trying to create a deficit, you shouldn't go more than 500 calories. I would keep it between 300 to 500 calories. Try to find your maintenance, and then just go from there. And so 1 pound is about 3,500 calories, just so you guys know. But again, this is not a biochemical constant, meaning like that 1 pound it's not 1 pound of fat, or it's not 1 pound of muscle. It's just 1 pound. 3,500 calories is about 1 pound of just weight in general, whether it's fat and muscle, or whether it's just mostly one or the other. Okay, so the reason why crash dieting is retarded is for a few reasons. So let's say like you go into like a 1,000 calorie deficit. Let's say like I was like, hey, fuck it, like I'm gonna go straight to 2,500 calories, 2,500 calories at the beginning of my cut, even though my maintenance is 4,000. So that'd be 1,500 calorie deficit. Your thyroid hormone, so this is your metabolic hormones that are keeping your metabolism running. They will downshift, I think, up to 40%, 30 to 40% and this is going to trim your basal metabolic burn. So you just right away, you've now just pretty much crushed your metabolism, your thyroid metabolism. And like there's going to be a few manifest symptoms from that. Number one is you're going to feel like shit. Number two is now you don't have that much leverage to go from there. So if I were to go to 2,500 guys and my metabolism quickly crashed, I don't have much room for the rest of my cut to get leaner. The reason why I can get so lean how I am right now is because I keep my calories so high that I have so much time to continue to drop and drop and drop and drop and drop. I started at 4,000, then 3,700, then 3,400, then 3,100, then 2,800, then 2,500. Now I'm at like 2,400. And the point is, like, if I went to 2,500, I can't eat, I can only drop a few times before I'm at like 1,500 calories, and I can't go less than that, or else I'll literally like fucking die. You know, like I can't work out. You can't work out as somebody my size, or just at like a larger male in general can't work out on 1,500 calories. It's very, very hard. And that's why like bodybuilders at the end of their cuts, when they're eating very, very low amount of calories, like I mean, you see, like they just have no, their workouts are super short. They don't have any energy, and they're just, your body is trying to save all of the energy towards surviving. And so this is why your thyroid hormones are falling. Is your body's like, okay, like if you're gonna fucking do this to us, if you're gonna really crash, if you're gonna crash the calories, we will also crash our metabolism so that we can continue to survive. That's how your body, you're playing a game with your body by when you decide to drop your calories. The next thing is that your NEAT, so your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, will plummet. So you will see, and this is actually really funny, this happens with me all the time, but when I'm in a, like even right now, I'm like nearing the end of my cut, my NEAT is much lower, and I can just notice, like, I don't move my hands as much. You know, I usually am sitting a lot more than I used to, and I don't even notice these things. And you'll see somebody who's eating a very, very low amount of calories, or even if you ate a low amount of calories for a day or two, like really low, right? You'll see, like, you just want to sit down and you just don't want to move, because your body, again, the reason why your body does this, guys, is because it wants to preserve all the energy for the important processes, which are your brain function and your ion pumps, and just making sure that you're not going to fucking die. After that, your body like doesn't give a fuck about your gym endeavors. It doesn't give a fuck about your dreams. All it cares about is that so your brain can continue to function so that you can survive. So if you're going to crush your calories, your body's like, okay, we will play that game, but we are going to make you feel depressed. We're going to make you feel unmotivated. Again, you're going to have no libido. Your immune function is going to dip, although your body's trying to preserve as much energy for immune function, which is so important. Your mood is going to be shit, because again, your body doesn't care about your mood. It doesn't care about giving these parts of your brain that are responsible for feeling happy. It doesn't care about those parts as much as it cares about like the expensive parts of your brain, like the ventral medial prefrontal cortex, which is the front part of your brain. It's like literally right in the front here. Super expensive, and it's very, very necessary to just to do basic tasks. And so your body will devote as much energy as it can to those specific areas, and for your immune function, so it doesn't fucking die. That's what it doesn't want to die. And immune function is also very, very, very important for your body. This is why so much energy is going. This is why when you're in a caloric deficit and you feel shit, a lot of that energy is also just making sure that you don't get sick. And when you are in a very severe caloric deficit, your immune function is going to get compromised. This is why when you're in a caloric deficit for a long period of time, you have a much higher likelihood of becoming sick. Like, and this is why, like, when I'm in a caloric deficit, I'm taking as many supplements as I can, like a high dose of vitamin C and astragalus root extract and things like that, just to like give my immune system whatever kick it can get. Because again, it's not getting the calories that it needs to properly protect me from like disease. So yeah, energy is being the key here. Is energy is going to be triaged to your essentials, and your body's going to tell you to fuck off until you give it the food that it needs. And if you go into an aggressive cut, it will tell you to fuck off right away, and you're just going to feel like shit the entire time, and you're not going to have any leverage for the rest of your cut. So you're gonna, once you're at one, like, cool, bro, like you're now at 2,000 calories right away. Where are you going to go? What are you going to do after 2,000 calories? And what when you stop losing weight, like what are you going to do? Do you drop to 1,500 calories and then 1,000 calories and eat as much as a fucking like 3-year-old girl? Like that just won't work. So, yeah, you need the key here is to really keep your energy as high as you can for as long as you can. This is how I get super lean, guys. Is like, and people are like, oh my God, how little calories are you eating? I'm like, bro, I'm eating fucking 2,400 calories and I'm sub 10% body fat, because I've kept them high from the beginning. You know, I've leveraged. I hate, like, I will do anything I can to make sure that I'm always at like the highest calories I can be at before I need to cut. There's no benefit to cutting the calories early. There's literally no benefit besides like huge weight loss, which is just mostly muscle. And I'll get into that. Okay. Um, yeah, your progress is going to stall. Your adherence is going to tank. You're just not going to want to fucking continue to work out. You're going to want to quit. Again, sustainable beats masochistic. If you guys don't know what masochistic means, it means like the pleasure from your own pain. Like people get horny off their own pain for some reason. Anyways, okay, so this is really important. So your body has a daily fat oxidation cap. Okay, so in a 2005 paper, I read this one paper for you guys. Albert reviewed data from underfed but moderately active subjects and calculated that the maximal energy your body can draw from pure fat source is about, give or take, 290 calories per kilogram of fat per day. Converting that gives around 31 kilograms per pound of fat per day. So if you carry 36 pounds of fat, okay, 180 pounds times 20% body fat, so that's about 36 pounds of fat. That's about 1,116 calories of your day of your deficit can come directly from fat. Any larger shortfall forces your body either to catabolize lean tissue or to dial down resting energy expenditure. Adaptive thermogenesis, by the way, guys, I'm going to explain all of this to bridge the gap. In other words, deficits bigger than that threshold aren't free calories. They accelerate muscle loss and metabolic slowdown, which is why oversized cuts can lead to the burnout or unwanted lean mass catabolism, which is the breakdown of lean mass. The reason why this is super important, guys, is when you're in a caloric deficit and people like to crash diet, after a certain amount of calories, you're not burning any more fat. Your body can't, like, this is why somebody who's morbidly obese can can just starve themselves for one day and they'll lose the exact same amount of fat as somebody who's morbidly obese, but cuts, like, let's say, is in a 1,000 calorie deficit. Let's say one of them is in a 4,000 calorie deficit and one of them is in a 1,000 calorie deficit. They will burn the same amount of fat in overnight because your body can't go through all that fat at once. It has a cap during the night. Especially during night, you go through like a lot of fat oxidation and your body starts to break down your fat, which is why sleep is super important, by the way, guys. And so during that period, there's a cap there's a cap, and after that cap, your body's like, okay, like this is the most we can do, because again, it's a rate. And that rate is limited, and you can't just infinitely burn fat, even if you're in an infinite calorie deficit. If you could do that, it'd be very easy to get lean very fast. But again, losing weight and losing fat is a long process where you need to just constantly chip away from the fat, constantly chip away from the fat. And going into a bigger deficit isn't going to help you get there. All that's going to happen is protein cannibalization. So deficits exceeding your fat release limit force your body to break down muscle tissue for additional energy needs. So if you go into a 1,500 calorie deficit, your body's going to burn however much it can from fat. And then after that, it's going to be like, okay, well, let's now go into our muscle stores because we can't burn any more fat and we need that muscle somehow. We need that energy somehow. And so you're going to feel less strong and have less energy for your workouts. A smaller muscle mass means you burn fewer calories at rest. Like I said, guys, it's your BMR. If you're very muscular, you will have a higher BMR. If you're not, then you'll have a lower one. And you're more likely to get injured when your tendons aren't as robust. And so, yeah, and the key here is, like, that's why I keep for example, in my mentorships, we take a little bit of time to find your maintenance calories, and then after that, then we drop X amount of calories, 300 to 500 max, because after that, to me, you're just shooting yourself in the foot in many ways, as I've explained by now. The last thing is you get the law of diminishing returns. So when you slash about 25% of your calories below maintenance, for example, cutting 625 calories out of 2,500 calorie baseline, two things will happen. So again, your fat loss efficiency will drop off. Your body fights back by dialing down non-exercise movement like NEAT. So again, you're going to just start now moving slower and you're not going to be as energetic in general. Your hormone levels like leptin are going to lower. So leptin is the hormone that makes you feel full. When your leptin is high, your body's like, okay, we don't need to eat anymore. When your ghrelin is high, you want to eat. And so your chronic food deprivation or caloric deprivation will lower your leptin hormones chronically. And so you're just going to be hungry all the time. And again, being hungry is just a very shitty feeling, as we all know. And then you're just going to blunt your calorie burn in daily tasks. Okay. And so as a result, each calorie you cut yields progressively less actual fat loss. So again, law of diminishing returns is that you'll get a lot of returns for the first 300 calories, you get a ton of benefit for it. And then after 500 calories, you get less benefit. And then after 1,000 calories, you're just From 500 to 1,000, like it's just like it plateaus. There's no big gain from 500 to 1,000, you know? But as you want to hit the sweet spot, which is 300 to 500 calories, I think 300 because I don't know why you would just increase it for no reason. And that way you can also preserve more muscle mass. Yeah. And so with energy, when your energy is super scarce, your body will increasingly borrow from lean tissue to fuel basic functions. Your strength is going to stall or even reverse, and your resting metabolism is going to shrink. Okay. So, and again, this will just make your future cuts harder. Okay, so these are just like the big levers that you can pull for fat loss, okay, without like a metabolic free fall. So number one is you want to aim for about 0.5 to 1% of body weight loss per week. Any more than that, you're starting to like go into kind of scary territory. And it just depends how fat you are as well. If you have a lot of fat on you, then it's okay because your body still has like these extra energy reserves. But again, you still have that fat oxidation cap. And after that, you're just going to start burning muscle and you're just going to start feeling like shit. So the next would be your protein. I say this all the time. I think 1 gram per pound, that should be pound, guys, um, is ideal in a caloric deficit. And then if you are very muscular and you want to, oh, I see some chats. Oh, okay. Um, mastic gum. Yeah, literally, I need that shit. Um, mastic gum, guys, is like the gum that you use to like I think it's like to grow your jaw because it's super hard. Anyway, so yeah, I think 1 gram per pound of body weight is ideal. Preserves your lean mass and it boosts again the thermic effect of food, which we now know by now. Um, and I think like the higher the deficit, the higher you want your protein to be, because again, your body really wants to start breaking down protein the further you get into a deficit. Why? Because it's metabolically active tissue that your body just wants to get off so bad when you're in a caloric deficit because it's using so much energy. Your body likes to stay fat in a caloric deficit. It wants to hold on to the fat. It wants to get rid of any muscle it can. So, and the only way that you can signal your body to be like, no, we're not going to lose the muscle is again by increasing your protein and to lift heavy and to just lift in general 3 to 4 times a week at least. And this will defend your muscle because now you're sending a very strong anabolic stimulus to your muscles to be like, yo, we're not going to lose this muscle. I know you want to burn this muscle, but like we fucking need it. And if we don't, the way that your body is interpreting this is that like, okay, we want to burn muscle, but something is going outside. I made an episode on this, but like something is going on. And it's probably that like we're running away from a tiger because we're apes. So your body thinks that like you're running away from something very dangerous in an environment and it wants to burn the muscle, but it also knows that if it burns the muscle, it's going to probably result in you dying from whatever dangers in the environment. And so that's why your body wants to keep muscle. And that's why working out in a deficit is so important, more important than if you're in a bulk, because your body's going to go straight for your muscle because it's very demanding. And the only way you can tell your body to fuck off and hold on to as much muscle as possible is to work out and to keep your protein high. Okay. These are the biggest levers I'd say you can pull in regards to keeping muscle while being in the caloric deficit. Next is you want to engineer your non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So like typically again, like go for 8 to 10,000 steps a day. This is going to keep your NEAT very high. And then you'll be like, damn, like I'm just losing weight a lot easier now. I don't know why, but it's like, that's why your metabolism isn't higher. It's just because you're just walking around more and you're doing more just demanding things energetically demanding things, standing desks, walk and talk meetings, things like that if you're busy. And then, yeah, optional cardio. Again, this is just eat. And so moderate intensity on rest days or short hit blocks on post weights depends. It just depends on who you are. But again, this is just like a lever that you can pull when it comes to fat loss. Is obviously increasing your cardio is going to help if you swim. Oliver, I know that you swim. Like it's obviously that burns a lot of calories. And then for example, for this specifically, your eat would be probably like even up to 20% or 25% for a swimmer because they burn so much calories. Like they'd be an exception here. Do you see what I'm saying? So, yeah, like, and now I'm happy that you guys can at least like apply this to your eat, your NEAT, and whenever you're doing anything, is like, okay, am I not losing weight because my NEAT is low? Is it because my eat is low, or is it because of my TEF? It's probably because of your NEAT or your eat. It's probably not your BMR unless you're crash dieting, and then your BMR is going to crash. Okay. And then yeah, periodic diet breaks are very, very important. This is something that I also do for all of my mentees, is like you want to restore your leptin levels, which is again, the hormone that makes you full, and you want to restore those. And you'll see like in studies and very large meta-analyses, if you take like a diet break for 7 to 10 days, you'll feel a lot better for the rest of the diet. And I will do this during my cuts. I'll usually take about like 4 to 6 days off or at maintenance calories so that my leptin levels can restore. My T3 hormone, which is again the metabolic hormone that is using a lot of energy, and that's correlated with your BMR, that is going to increase as well. And then you'll feel more motivated as a byproduct. You'll feel better in general. There's a lot of benefits to taking refeeds and refeed weeks, deload periods for these sorts of reasons. Okay. And again, whole foods versus ultra processed foods. So you can leverage the higher thermic effect of whole foods for better satiety. Again, satiation. When I say like satiated, guys, that means like you feel full. If you are satiated, you are full. Satisfied comes from that word. Yeah, yeah, I found this, but like chili, like you can have like there's this thing in chili peppers that can bump your metabolic rate by 50 calories a day. So you guys should just like dome like 50 chili peppers if you want to burn some calories. Uh okay, yeah. And so this is an important one. So like people like tend to like fuck up a lot, and it's like the big thing is like it's fine if you have one or two fuck ups, or even if you have more. But like the point is so, like I said, guys, 3,500 calories is about 1 pound. Now, let's say you have a day in your deficit where where you splurge, you eat way too much, you eat 3,500 calories in surplus. 3,500 calories won't be a 1 pound gain in fat. Okay. Again, because your body can burn a certain amount of fat, but it also gains a certain amount of fat in a set period of time. You can't gain an infinite amount of fat. Like if I eat 20,000 calories, I can't gain 15,000 calories of fat. It's only going to be like X amount of fat because, again, your body has a limit, and the rest is going to be glycogen and water. Okay. And that's going to cause that scale jump. So if you ever do go over, don't be like, damn, this is going to be all converted to fat. It's not going to be all converted to fat because it's taken a long time to burn that fat in the caloric deficit that your body won't just, even like, let's say you go into a 3,500 calorie deficit for a week. Okay. In 1 week, I've lost 1 pound of fat in a 3,500. I've done 3,500 calories deficit over the week, and then I fuck up and I eat 3,500 calories over. I don't gain that 1 pound of fat back. It's actually like it's kind of nice. Like you only a certain amount will be gained, and then a certain amount will be gained as fat, a very small amount, and the rest will be glycogen and water. Okay. And so, yeah, what really happens in most immediate weight gain after the overeating is water weight from glycogen storage. It's not actual fat tissue. The recovery strategy, just return to your normal eating patterns. Don't crash diet the next day. I used to do this and binge and purge and binge and purge. It's just very, very bad. Just go back to your normal diet. Just have a harder workout because now you have a lot of energy. Again, energy meaning because like calories are energy, guys, as I've said it, and I will continue to say. Just think of like, yeah, like I had a very high calorie day yesterday. That means I had a very high energy day, which means I can have a very high energy workout as well. And that's just all this means. This is why having like a really high calorie day before like a bench day, for example, is a really good idea because you'll have a lot more energy for the bench and you'll feel a lot better on the bench. Um, yeah, avoid the temptation to drastically cut calories in compensation. And just remember that fat gain requires consistent surplus over time, not just a single high calorie event. Okay. And so this is just kind of a reference sheet. So the TDE formula is your BMR, which is about 65%, plus your NEAT, plus your EAT, plus your TEF. Okay. As we went over, the deficit sweet spot is 300 to 500 calories a day. Your protein target 1.6 to 2.2 grams per kilogram of body weight, or in pounds 1 to 1.6 grams per pound of body weight. And NEAT is a priority. Okay, this is like literally your calorie sink. You want to move and move and move all the time before adding cardio onto it. Just make sure, like, instead of being like, yeah, I need to add cardio, it's like maybe I should just be a little bit more active during the day. Maybe I should just fucking walk and like have a FaceTime with somebody. And when I FaceTime someone, I should just walk while I'm FaceTiming, things like that. Adaptation warning signs, your steps are beginning to fall, your hands and feet are getting cold, your training loads are getting stalled, and then everything that I mentioned before. You're depressed, you have low libido, your dick isn't hard in the morning. Those are very bad signs that you're probably in a severe deficit. Oh yeah, James is back in. Okay. Yeah, and so the next the next slides for the next meeting will be on macronutrients, so like your carbs, your proteins, and your fats, and exactly what they do and how. We'll go over all that stuff with you guys. I want to go over all that stuff with you guys and those foundations. But yeah, I hope that clarified some stuff. And if you guys have like any questions, give it to me. But I hope I did a decent job of explaining how we feeling.
Are we able to get this after the call, like the sheet?
Yeah, yeah, I'll post everything up.
Thanks, bro.
Mhm. Anything else,
So
boys? Oh yeah,
I have like tons of questions. I mean, not tons. I have like
yeah, yeah,
five or
yeah.
six.
Of course. Go
It's
ahead.
it's like a few are from the video and like few are or like from the class and like a few are just in general I had like stored up. I'll do
Oh,
about the class first. I wasn't like I didn't understand fully about like about the deficit because
mm-hmm,
what I heard is that your body goes into like in a survival instinct, right? When you do a
mm-hmm,
deficit.
mm-hmm.
So you said, or that's what I understood, the only way to trick the body is to like go down weekly a little bit in the deficit, or how do I trick the body to not like shut down on
Okay,
like
so first of all, trick
burning?
is not the word that you want to use. You're not tricking the body into doing anything. You when you go into a severe caloric deficit, Oliver, you're essentially just telling your body's getting hit with this huge shock where it's just like, whoa, we are in a very severe deficit. We are going to resort all the resources to triage, meaning your brain function, your immune function, and like your general ion pumps, wherever those typically the muscles and things like that. So the way that you counter that and the way that you don't go into that very starvation like state is to slowly drop the calories over and over. Um, Progressively. And as you hit plateaus, because your NEAT and your BMR are going to drop over time, and they're going to drop and they're going to drop, then you just drop the calories 300 every single time, 300 every single time, 300 every single time, instead of just going straight to 1,000, because then you're just going to burn a lot of muscle and your body's going to go into this starvation like state. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, okay, so you gotta like wait, I don't know how to say it in English. Like you just gotta like make your body comfortable every week with the new
So, and yeah, and so what I would say, Oliver, is
like
like you don't
weekly, right? The deficit.
it doesn't need to be weekly. You can keep a deficit for as long as you want, as long as you are still losing weight. So if you are still losing weight on the scale, you are in by the definition of the laws of the universe, you are in a deficit. So if you continue to lose weight at X amount of calories for X period of time and you are still losing weight, there's no reason to drop the calories until you hit a plateau. And when you hit the plateau, you have now there's a signal that's being told to you from the universe as being like, okay, your energy in, energy out have now equalized. We have lost either enough muscle or fat, and that your NEAT has dropped enough that it's time to now drop the calories more. And then that's when you would be like, okay, now it's time to drop 300 calories more. So if that's every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, every 4 weeks, every 1 week, that's what you do. But the point is that like your body will very quickly adapt to the 1,000 calories, just like it quickly adapts to 300 or the 400. It will quickly adapt to 1,000. So there's no benefit in doing the 1,000 versus just starting from 300 and then slowly dropping those calories.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and like another question. I mean, can I
Mm-hmm.
do another question?
Of course, yeah, yeah, that's whatever.
So a situation I'm always in is like I go swimming, right? Like every time I go swimming or I do an intense workout, like whatever, afterwards I have this like insane craving, right? Like I'm like I want to go to McDonald's or I want to get some processed food or like fats in
Uh-huh.
me.
Mm-hmm.
And I just would like to know if there's actually a way to like ignore those cravings because
Mm-hmm.
like I really struggle with like just because like I do
Mm-hmm.
my sport, I do my
Mm-hmm.
workout and everything,
Mm-hmm.
and then you go home and you're like looking at the kitchen and you're like, damn, I would really like
Yeah.
chocolate sandwich or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, that's a good question, Oliver. And this is something that people have been trying to fight, like in the fitness community in general. The best way that I've done this is there's a few ways. You can now like number one is I would go from the psychological side, and this is probably like very soon I'm gonna do a lecture with you guys on like journaling and how to kind of rewire your subconscious because clearly your subconscious mind has associated pleasure with shitty food, and you can rewire that. And that occurred at some time during your childhood, whether it was when you were 5 or when it was during middle school or whatever. There was a point in your life where you had fast food and you're like, this is like, this is just fucking amazing. This is so good. And like it gave you tons of energy. Maybe it was after like swim meets or whatever. If I don't know if you used to swim or whatever, but like or working out or playing sports, um, your body associated that with pleasure. And so the way that you begin to rewire that is in a few ways. One is that you train your subconscious mind, and I'll teach you how to do this, but essentially to like you want to essentially tell yourself that you don't enjoy healthy foods. You want to actually change your identity. Like when I think of wanting to eat now, I rarely think of wanting to eat shit food. It's always me being like, I want to eat just fucking something healthy and dense and thick. um
Yo, what?
and
Pause.
yeah, pause. Um, yeah, and that like, and that's how I've kind of associated that um subconsciously. But from the other perspective, from the other side is like you can also just rewire that by starting to just take you to rewire your neural circuits. The only way you can do that is by actually doing the thing that's required to rewire those neural circuits. So, for example, if you want to eat um if you want to eat McDonald's or whatever, and you have a swim meet and you don't eat McDonald's and you eat something healthy and you feel better after eating that healthy thing, you have now just given your brain essentially a signal saying like, oh, wait a minute, like this actually works to in making me feel well. And that's like now you've essentially pruned neurons, you've broken neurons, you've killed neurons in that old circuit, and you're starting to build new ones. And the only way that you can fortify the new circuit and to break the old circuit is by doing things like that. Okay, so it would be like constantly like whenever you're done the swim meet, bring a protein shake, bring a protein bar, have those right after. You're going to feel pretty full right away, and you'll feel a lot better. You're going to have less of a craving for the McDonald's. Then if the craving comes up again, eat some fruit and eat a solid meal that's healthy, and then you're going to lose the craving again. And you'll be like, oh, damn, like I was just hungry. That was just my fat cells screaming at me to eat, to be fat. That wasn't actually really me. And that's not really you. Like your body doesn't really want McDonald's. It's just these old neural circuits that you've built, wherever it was in your life, um, that are telling you to do this thing. So that's something I would do. And just by keeping yourself full again, by having the protein shake, having a protein bar after the workout, that'll also increase your leptin. So the hormone that makes you feel full will increase, and your ghrelin will also decrease, which is the hormone that is going to make you feel hungry. And that's also going to drive you away from eating shit food. And if you do that over and over and over and over again, over the span of weeks to months, you will begin to see that like you're gonna have a swim practice and you'll be like, damn, I kind of just want a protein shake and a protein bar. Like it's weird. Like, bro, literally when I work out, like the first thing I want is just a protein shake and a protein. Like I don't crave shit food. I used to be very I used to love going through drive-throughs like an A&W and just fucking like slamming like fucking three burgers. But like I just don't anymore because again, like I've rewired those circuits through subconscious techniques like journaling and through these more pragmatic routes, which is just like literally just telling your body biochemically, like, yo, we don't need the food because our leptin is high, our ghrelin is low, and just doing that over and over and over again and creating these new neural circuits. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense.
Mm.
It's just really tough because like I do what you said. Like after swimming, then what
Mm.
my mission is, I eat fruits, but like fruits don't fill me, and then I'm like, damn, I'm
Yeah.
still hungry.
So
And then afterwards, I
so
do crave again.
Yeah, so I mean, the reason why you might not feel full is because you might be lacking micronutrients in general. So, like, fruits are going to give you micronutrients for sure, but you want also all your macronutrients, so your fats, your proteins, and your carbs. So you want to
Yeah,
be having like a full meal with fats, with healthy fats, like olive oil and things like that. You want to be having your protein. You want to be having a healthy carb source, and then yeah, fruits are great. If you have all of those together, then you will feel more satiated and over. It's just about doing that constantly because you have again, the way that processed food is made, again, like these companies have psychologists, bro, who study the brains of people and neuroscientists who study the brains of people that eat a burger and they look at how much pleasure is being released, how much dopamine is being released in the brain when they eat the burger. And they're trying and they're constantly um they're constantly trying to increase the amount of dopamine that's being released from these foods so that you are more addicted to that food. This is why the food industry is fucking horrifying and like why these things I just generally think you should just stay away from them. Because it's meant to keep you in there. That's why you feel like this. It's like the neuroscientists are clearly doing a good job because you are just like you are a person where they're like, oh, there we go. Like Oliver if you were to go to the neuroscientist, they'd be like jerking themselves off because they're like, we did a good job, you know? So the point is that like, and the only way that you can stop doing that is like you want to break that addiction, right? So which is and that's what it is. It's an addiction. It's literally an addiction to these foods. And the way that you do that is just by you have to like hold off over. But again, it's consistency and it's iteration. That's how you break these patterns. Otherwise, these neural circuits that you have in the past will continue to stay until they get pruned. And then your body will essentially forget about and it will and you'll feel that on the conscious level. You'll be like, damn, like I just don't crave McDonald's. So
Mhm.
yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah. I mean, I have other questions, but
Of course,
if
yeah.
you
Yeah, if anyone
just
else has questions, just send in the chat and then I'll go to them. But keep going. I got some
so
time.
like when I do my workout, people I see like usually like people having a timer on, like they put like 2 minutes, 3 minutes between rest sessions. And I'm the type of guy that just sits down and I look at the wall, whatever, and whenever my muscles I feel like I'm good, then
Mm,
I do it again. Like what would
yeah.
be like perfect time for me to like rest?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I would say when you're a beginner, I would highly recommend probably timing it because you're not experienced enough to know exactly what it feels like to be properly rested. If you're a more experienced lifter like me, who's like 5, 6 years in the gym now, I generally have a good idea of like, okay, like my muscles are rested enough. So I would say for you, for example, what I would do is like set a timer if if it's an isolated workout, like a bicep curl, a tricep extension, something like that. Keep it at about 90 seconds to 2 minutes max. If it's a compound movement that requires a lot of energy, like bench press, 3 to 5 minutes, and if it's something like a deadlift or squats, 5 minutes, three to like 4 to 6 minutes even, because you want as
Mhm.
much power output during those movements. And they require a fuck ton of energy. You're using so much ATP in literally one set of deadlift or squats, and like you need to replenish that by just taking a full rest. You'll even see power lifters like they'll take like 7 to 10 minute breaks between some sets because like it's fully required. But when it comes to like these smaller muscle groups like shoulders, biceps, it's not necessarily needed. I like you can keep it 90 seconds. But again, you also want to that and the other thing I would say is like you should feel that you're ready to go for the next one. Like you shouldn't still be breathing super hard and like unless you're training for endurance, you shouldn't be like breathing super hard by the next set. You want to kind of feel rested like on the conscious level as well. Which also is a symptom of like neurological the neurological side of things are also healthy and you're ready to like psychologically go back into that state of pushing again. You can be physiologically fried on a muscle level, but you can also be like psychologically fried. Like psychological fatigue is a real thing. That also builds up over time where like you're like, holy fuck, I just can't imagine lifting this right now. And your muscles aren't necessarily even tired. You're just fried. And that also gets replenished during these refeed deload periods. Like as you're getting that, that's why like after a week off in the gym, you like and you're back in the gym, you feel so motivated. That's not just because your muscles are healthy, it's because your brain is literally like has replenished in whatever way it needed to replenish. So you're like, damn, like this is such a good workout. I feel so motivated. I can go for like 6 weeks again, which is why these periods are also very important. Um, yeah, but for you specifically, what I would say is like keep it to 90 seconds to 2 minutes or 1 to 2 minutes on these smaller muscle groups, and on the larger ones, go from anywhere from like 3 to 6 minutes, depending on the lift and how you feel.
Okay, yeah, I noted it. And about my app routine,
Mhm.
do I do this before my workouts? Do I do this every day,
No.
or
So you
do
don't do
I?
it before your workout because abs are like so it can actually kind of be dangerous to like do abs dangerous. Like it's not like don't worry about it too much, but like it technically you can tear something if you're especially like in like compound movements where your abs are very much needed, or even walking or running, your abs are like centralizing your legs. If you do abs before, you can actually risk an injury because like they're needed for that stabilization. So if you're gonna do abs, always keep it towards the end of the workout and after cardio as well. Um, and ideally like even like 30 minutes after a workout or longer, like you do your workout and then maybe later in the day you hit abs. I personally like I don't really like to do that. I just like to hit it at the gym. So like I'll do like my workout and then cardio and then I'll rest for like 10 minutes and then do abs. um and then in the ab module that I gave, it kind of says how the frequency should be. It says towards the end like the exact frequency depending on your level of depending on how fit you are, it says how often you should be hitting the abs. But me personally, like I think frequently hitting abs is a very good idea. Like I do abs more than 4 times per week. But on in the guide that you have, it explicitly like says
Yeah, I read it. It's like day
Mhm.
1, day 2, and then day 3 is like repeat day 1.
Yeah,
But
but that was for a certain phase, was it not?
it was the first phase. I
Yeah.
will put myself in the first phase. But
Okay, yeah. Then just I
about
would say
that, I was like, is it then 3 times a week, I guess?
yep,
Or
yep.
and do I need to give it like 24 to 48 hours of rest? So like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or
Yeah, that works. Or you can do or like Monday, Thursday, Saturday. It's not like that deep, to be honest. Like it's as long
okay.
as yeah, like 3 times per week. Yeah, Monday, Wednesday, Friday works. But yeah, like the big thing I would say, Oliver, is like you don't want to like necessarily overcomplicate lifting. All you're really looking for is just to give your body and the stimulus that it needs to grow, which is just mechanical tension, and that's being done by whatever you're doing.
Mhm.
So yeah.
uh, I mean, I have another question. In my
Mhm.
diet, he told me to like for lunch or like pre-workout,
Mhm.
to take like a whey, and like
Mhm.
post-workout as well, whey like protein.
Mhm.
The quantities of those, is that like one scoop, like 30
Yes.
grams?
Yes.
Okay. And what do I combine it with? Can I combine it with milk? Because with water, it's kind of.
I mean, depends on your goals. If you're trying to bulk, milk. If you're trying to cut, water.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I struggle
So
with the water because I'm trying it, but it's not really
chug
like.
it, bro. Just chug it, man. I'm sorry, like,
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you. Or you just get a better flavor.
And yeah, I mean, I'm trying the flavors, and but like 30 grams is like what, half a liter of water then, or like 300 milliliters?
It depends on the scoop. It depends on the brand, depends on the scoop, depends on like how well filtered it is. I would just go as little water as it takes to get it fully dissolved and no more than that, so you're not extensively drinking that nasty powder.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Um, but yeah, that's what I usually do. Like I think if there's any pieces in it, I'd 100% vomit all over the floor if I felt something in my fucking mouth. So
It happens to me as well. Yeah.
yeah, no, that's disgusting. So
Mm.
yeah.
And about last question is my last
Mhm.
question. Then about the swimming and doing my workout routine is like
Mhm.
you recommended me of doing a 3.2 like ratio, so like 3 workouts, 2 swimmings.
Mhm.
Um, what if I want to do like maybe 4 workouts or and then like as well 2 swimmings, or is that then too much for my body to handle?
So again, what I would tell you is like this is extremely individualized and it depends. You need to monitor your fatigue. If you're ever feeling like if you're starting to get injured out of nowhere, if your shoulders are feeling fucked, if you're feeling depressed, if your libido is low, if you're not hard in the morning, if you're feeling like just ultra sore all the time, that's probably a sign that your cortisol is high, that your fatigue is starting to build up, and you should probably ease off the pedal.
Okay.
But people have different people are more fit than other people are less fit than other people. What I would do is probably start at 5 per week, see how you feel. If you feel like you're fit enough to do it and you feel like you're eating enough, again, you need to now, like I'll tell you right now, you're gonna need to eat a lot if you're gonna be swimming and doing that working out as well. So make sure you're eating a good amount of protein, you're having your healthy fats and carbs, and then monitor your fatigue and see how you feel. Monitor your mood. Do you feel depressed? Do you not feel depressed? Like just like general like and your body's usually quite good at telling you if you just listen to it um and see how you feel from there, and then I would either decrease or increase from there. I would never do 7 days a week because you're probably just gonna like now you're just building
Yeah, of
unnecessary
course. Like
fatigue. But
I need like 2 years. Yeah.
yeah, so I would say like yeah, like 2 to 3 rest or 1 to 3 rest periods per week I would say is probably ideal depending on the person. And
Yeah.
you can
Yeah,
again your
it's just
fitness will increase, so you'll probably be able to do more over time.
yeah, because like I mean, I'm gonna be in summer now, right? So like my only things I can do is like going to the gym and swimming. So I will be resting the rest of the day. So like I'm thinking if I only do 3 gym workouts and like 2 swimming workouts, I think I can handle more, right? Because it's like summer, I have nothing else to do.
Yep.
So
I mean, yes. But again, like I might
I
be
can
more
just
fit than
go
you.
when my feeling is.
I might be less fit than you. Me personally, like I feel like I'd probably be fine and maybe I could do it. But like again, like if I started feeling like all fucked up, I'd probably ease off. So but
Yeah,
again,
yeah,
like me and you are just different people genetically. We have different like you might have better endurance, I have more muscle, like, but who knows how we would both react. It's just is so individual and you need to just listen to your own body. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
I mean, I guess that's it for me. So yeah.
What's a good replacement for milk if you're lactose intolerant? Ooh, lactose-free milk, Dilhan. Um, that's what I would say. Uh, it's actually so good though. The what's it called? The Fairlife lactose-free, bro. Yazin, we know this, bro. They're
Wait, what about
so
almond milk?
the almond milk is almond milk is. I mean, almond
It's
milk isn't really
Fairlife.
high
It's like white
protein.
and blue.
Yeah, but yeah, Yazin knows. But like,
Wait, let me find the
Me and
picture.
Yazin are Fairlife advocates. Like, but yeah, they have lactose-free milk. That's actually, honestly, I feel like it's better than regular milk because its macros are even better. It has lower sugar as well, and it has higher protein. So, Dylan, I would say like if you're wanting milk specifically, have the lactose-free milk. You still get like a good amount of micronutrients that you would get from milk. And yeah, and then if you really want a replacement, then if you don't want to do milk at all, like I mean, I hate the taste of fucking almond milk and shit. Like I think it tastes so. No, Dylan. Dylan. They have the yes, and yes. That's it. And it's like a big jug. It's like a big one. Yeah. It's fire. It's actually so good. Like I like when I'm on a bulk, I'm using that with my cereal. Like, and the chocolate milk version too is like, oh, I could chug. This guy yes and chugs like 4 a day, bro. I swear to God.
It came a period I used to drink almost like a liter and a half of
Yeah, I
milk a day.
remember. I remember at the gym, you're like, bro, I like I like chugged them before, and I was like, all right. Chocolate milk with
Milk is
5%
my
have this.
game.
It's OD, yeah. No, but yeah, 100% Dylan, I agree. Um,
You guys are sus, by the way.
yeah, bro, I know
Hey,
I'm
bro is
literally
like during classes, like you get a hard dick, and then he's like, I want something like big, fat, and juicy," and this
Yeah.
guy's like, "Milk is my game."
Oh
Like,
yeah.
bro, what?
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No. Don't worry, I'm the same. Um, anyone else have any questions? Are we chilling? Good to
We're
go?
good.
I'm
Cool.
fine to go. Yeah.
Okay, cool guys. Yeah. Okay, so next I'll post what we'll be doing next week. And we'll be active in the chat. But yeah, that was solid. I hope you guys gain some value from that, that you're not as confused when it comes to just thermodynamics of energy. And then I'll be doing different topics like in general. Like I want to do like philosophy stuff and like subconscious stuff and like we even like I kind of hinted at it today, but like how that can really help just with everything. Fitness stuff. I'll be switching up a lot because I just want to teach whatever I want to teach. Like I think it's like I want this whole like elevation group to be like all sorts of topics, not necessarily just fitness and um training, because that's stuff that you guys can also use my main account for on Instagram, and I'll probably be posting like more lecture slides in the course modules soon. So yeah. Anyways, thanks for everyone showing up, and I will see you guys on the IG. See you guys later.
Yeah, thank you, man. Great
Yo,
lecture.
bye bye.
See you later.